Hi everyone, my guest today has managed a $1.6 billion P&L at Decola, built plug and plays Latin American operation from zero to $11 million in revenue, and now backs founders across one of the most complex business environments in the world at IEBT Innovation. But what also caught my attention was a post he wrote about a man who bought a medieval castle in a tiny Italian village and built a luxury empire around human dignity. That tension between the scale he operates at and the philosophy he's gravitating toward is exactly what I wanted to explore today. Paulo Eduardo Padula, it's so great to have you here. I really appreciate you coming on, and welcome to Finding Flow.
Thank you very much, Kyle. It's a pleasure to talk to you and your audience as well.
Perfect. Well, I suppose before Decola, before Plug and Play, before any of the big numbers, what was Paulo at 22 years old actually like? What did you want and what did you believe about how the world worked?
Yeah, I was a backpacker. So, I
Okay.
mean, that's something very unique about myself. I mean, not unique because many people backpack,
Yeah.
but this will to know what is beyond my world. I grew up in a small city,
Yeah.
so I have the privilege to visit over 70 countries
Amazing.
and really not only take pictures or seeing the sightseeing. It was much more to get into the country, as we were discussing before,
Sure.
know the food, know the stories behind people. And this is probably the most defining character about myself. I even
Mm.
have a tattoo with a rope
Okay.
of winds,
Amazing.
showing my will to discover and to not to limit myself to what I knew in the past. I mean, keep going and keep learning and keeping open your horizons. That was probably my most defining characteristic.
That sounds amazing. I think you learn so much about yourself through exploring other cultures and traveling. So I think it's definitely a great way to gain perspective and context about the world. And so that's such an amazing start. I suppose you spent nearly 14 years across Unilever, Coca-Cola, and Diageo before making a major shift. So
Yeah.
from the outside, that looks like maybe before a very comfortable, safe path for someone clearly capable of more. Were you comfortable, or was something pulling at you the whole time before making that transition?
It's an excellent reading, in fact, because it's exactly what happened. I mean, I was in a C-level position at the time, but I was
Yes.
feeling like a little bit obsolete in terms of hearing about technology, hearing about, I mean, digital, and hearing about stuff that were not part of my day at the time.
Mm,
We didn't even have an e-commerce operation.
hmm.
So then I started to try to move on, Kyle, to do pro bono mentorships. I started doing my first angel investment at the time,
Okay.
reading everything that falls in my hand. I mean, taking courses, studying a lot on that. And I was preparing myself for the moment the market finds me. I
Mm,
knew that it won't happen immediately. It will take a time for the market to note that I was a different professional at the time. But
sure.
first of all, I need to be comfortable with myself. I mean,
Hmm.
I understand the words, I understand the language, I know which are the hottest discussion going on. So yeah, you get a great reading. I was feeling comfortable, yeah, in
Yeah.
one hand, but it started to feeling that I should be somewhere else.
Hmm.
So that was part of my journey preparing for the second half of my career.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very nice reading.
Okay, got it, got it. And so you ended up at Decola after nearly 14 years across Unilever, Coca-Cola, and Diageo. Decola being a hyper-growth tech business backed by Tiger Global and Expedia, heading toward a NYSE IPO. That's about as far from Unilever and Diageo as you can get. So what did you feel walking into that world for the first time? Did you feel ready, or were you genuinely figuring it out as you went?
Yeah, there's some cycles in any change, right? I mean,
Yeah,
first of all was excitement. I mean,
yeah,
imagine you finally, after 2 years of preparation, you finally get your opportunity. So you are learning to drive your small tractor or whatever, and
Sure.
suddenly you are sitting on an F1 car, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a part of the feeling. But suddenly you feel that was not that easy. I mean,
Mm,
you don't know anybody in the industry. Uh, People don't trust you because, I mean, you came out of nowhere. They really try to see how helpful can you be if you
mhm.
don't know anything about planes, anything about e-commerce, anything about travel. So it was much more for you to bring the credentials that you had in your previous life
Mm,
and somehow apply them to your new life. And in
yeah.
my case, I have a very I believe I have an ability to as I said to read people to put other people's shoes, and I
Mm,
really try to understand what of the challenge of my business partner and build my
yeah.
own plans to meet their needs. And by
Mm,
doing that, of course, I could charge more. I can extract more value from the relationship, and that's what I did. I mean, I was talking to the airlines, to the big companies and ask them which route do you plan to develop? I mean, which class do you want to promote? Is there any destination you're starting to flight right now? And let me help you build that business. And of
yeah.
course, I expect to get some share of the value you create. And that was amazing. By 18 months after that, we grew our market share from 5.8% to
Hmm.
10.4, almost doubling in 1 year and some months.
Amazing.
So getting to your question, I believe that getting my previous strengths and try to reinvent that to the new business was part of the way to what I did.
Yeah. I suppose some strengths, like being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, can be transferred and applied anywhere, and it's a very powerful thing to be able to have, and so that makes a lot of
Absolutely.
sense. And when a business like Decola is growing that fast, you have to grow just as fast to keep up. What changed in you during those years that you couldn't have learned anywhere else?
I believe it's something to think about, but putting some
Yeah,
in simple words, I believe when my first day in the office, I was having a coffee in a small bar outside the office,
yeah,
and the owner is a lady. She asked me, "Is it true that the company is closing
mm,
because many different leaders moved to different companies? They didn't believe the company will be able to the IPO, so
mm,
they're looking for a better future somewhere else."
hmm.
And I said, "No, that cannot happen. I just arrived, right?" But
Yes,
over that, I had 600 people under my responsibility. So you kind of feel responsible for them. I mean,
yeah,
for their livelihoods and for anything else. So I really commit. I mean, not only going to survive, but we're going to thrive. We're going to do the IPO. We did as the second unicorn in Latin America.
hmm,
And I mean, those people were in a better place than before I arrived. So feeling the responsibility of having a crowd under your wings is something that I never felt it before, Kyle, and
mm,
it's really something that I carry with me after that as a grown responsibility, right? An increased responsibility of being more than yourself and taking care more of yourself or your relatives or your family. I mean, your kids, your wife is a larger responsibility to your country, with your employees, whatever. So that changed for sure.
okay, got it, got it. And so you now back 42 startups through IEBT innovation, including CloudWalk, a Latin American unicorn. So you've watched founders up close for years. What's the thing you see them get wrong most consistently? The mistake that's almost maybe invisible to them while they're making it.
Yeah. Well, I see there's something unique for Brazilian founders
Yeah.
that they believe the domestic market is enough.
Hmm.
So, from my experience in Silicon Valley, you see the founders back there, they have
Mm.
a global playbook. So,
Okay.
since day one, they pick a global brand, they
Yeah.
start to define the total market in terms of the global reach.
Mm.
And sometimes we see the Brazilian founders, I mean, the domestic market is huge, that's a fact.
Yeah.
So, but why not looking beyond the borders? If you look
Sure.
to Israeli founders, or if you look
Mm.
for, I mean, many, many other founders around the world, they
Mm.
have this global mindset. They build the company for the world. And the Brazilians, they live themselves. I mean, it's not somebody else telling them to stay local.
Mm.
they limit themselves. So that will be, in my opinion, very limiting for Brazilian founders. So I encourage, if there's any Brazilian founder listening to us, to think
Mm.
global, man. You should dominate the
Sure.
local country for sure. That's gonna give you scale. That's gonna give you financial mass, critical mass to back your global expansion. But do not limit yourself. But thinking
Yeah.
about founders in general, Carlo, I would say that people love to define the product much more
Hmm.
than defining the user pain point.
Okay.
And from an investor perspective, you are not familiar to every kind of the consumer that are out there.
Yeah.
So we spend two or three slides, sorry, putting a
Mm.
context. I mean, this is my user, this is Kyle. In his
Hmm.
journey, he feels friction on that point. Can be
Hmm.
a minor inconvenience, can be a survival matter. I don't know what it
Mm.
is, but start to define your business by the user perspective, by the user
Yeah.
pain point, and that is much more inviting for the founder and much more powerful to understand what you are trying to prove.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think those are two really good pieces of advice that founders could definitely use. And yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I suppose so. You wrote recently that the market rewards execution more than vision. In AI right now, where everyone has a vision and almost nobody has provable results, what does real execution actually look like for a company serious about it?
Means the word. I mean, I always tell to friends and founders when I'm
Y-
mentoring them, Google was not the first search engine, and Meta
Yes.
was not the first social network.
Yeah.
And you barely remember who are the pioneers right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I truly believe that today it's very hard to have a unique idea that nobody had before.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't matter. That doesn't
Mm.
matter. If you reach the market, if you have the right commercial network to get in front of the consumer earlier, I mean, there's no silver medal, right? I used to
Yeah.
say that if you are the first one to arrive and to establish your brand,
Mm-hmm.
to put your flag on the beach, probably the follower will have much less space to grow. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean when I said that execution today is much more valuable than have a very creative idea that nobody thought about it before, and that's why having the right credentials to really execute your vision is
Mm-hmm.
much bolder than have a very exquisite vision that you are not able to implement by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I truly believe that this is valid in all kinds of business, but for AI, it's on a higher tier for sure.
That's really, really good advice. And you've built across Brazil and Latin America. So, regulatory complexity, currency swings, political noise. What does personal resilience actually look like in that environment day to day? So, not the framework, but what do you actually do and how do you manage this?
That's a very hard part. I mean, we have a very high potential market. I mean, we need basically everything. I mean,
Hmm.
solutions that are used in Europe or in the US for decades. Here, we're starting to see right now. But you touch a very important point. I mean, regulatory, fiscal is something that is very hard to manage.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example, and for the rest of the audience, you may not know, but in
Hmm.
Brazil, you can squeeze every dot point of your P&L. I mean, try to reach the smallest efficiency in the world, but
Hmm.
35% of your business you cannot touch, which is taxes.
Okay.
So that leaves you with a very tight space
Mm.
to innovate and to improve your P&L. But in the other hand, it makes you very creative.
Yeah.
A very short example. 30 years ago, 32 years ago,
Hmm.
Brazil had the highest inflation rate in the world. It was
Hmm.
around 2,000% a year. That was
Okay.
insane.
Yeah.
But by doing that, not only the financial system in Brazil is very agile because
Mm.
delays meaning money, meaning losing money, but people create the mindset of
Yeah.
keeping the money working and keep the money in the best investment option that you have in terms of liquidity, in terms of interest rate. So, as you said, when the 2008 crisis came, nobody was scared here
Mm.
by the fact Brazil raised 8% on that year. So
Yeah.
because I mean, crisis is just a normal day. I'm talking about Brazil, but if you talk
Mm,
to an Argentina or a Chilean or a Colombian person, they'll tell a similar story.
mm,
The difficult on doing basic things make people tougher, right? More
sure.
prepared to the challenge that will arrive in the future.
It's amazing. The bigger the challenges, how it can bring such amazing creativity out in people, and also resilience. And so, yeah, that's a fantastic example. And you've managed a $1.6 billion P&L at Decola, built plug and play Latin America from nothing, backed founders across the region, and somewhere in the middle of all of that, you wrote a post about Brunello Cucinelli, building a luxury empire around human dignity in a medieval Italian village. So, is that philosophy something you've always held, or something you arrived at after enough years in the rooms where the hard decisions actually get made?
I don't know. I don't know how to. I cannot be accurate on the exact moment that it happened, Kyle.
Yeah.
But I believe it's something that it's new for a while. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not because the law asks you to, of because society is becoming more demanding, but something that I believe companies should do, right? If you are in a small village, small town, I mean,
Mm,
your employees live there. I mean, their
mm,
families live there. I mean, you are part of that society. So for me, it's something very organic that companies build the rules about
mm,
about the places they are in. I know that this is maybe a romantic vision because I mean everybody's outsourcing things from China, Thailand,
mm,
whatever, Brazil. I mean, so roots is become something more symbolical than physical. But I believe if you have the opportunity, if you have if you are a supermarket chain and you have a store, I don't know, in Cape Town, you
mm.
should work to make Cape Town a better place.
Yeah, yeah,
So somehow you are connected somewhere, right? Nobody's fully digital. Can be a data center, can be a
yeah.
sales branch, can be whatever. But you should work to improve your communities, not because society is asking for, not because it's mandatory by law,
Mm,
but I mean, it's something that I truly believe. As I mentioned before, maybe I'm too romantic on that, but Brunello Cucinelli is a wonderful example. I mean,
yeah,
building a theater, building a restoring the historical places instead of being a comfortable office in Milan.
yeah,
He
yeah,
chose
sure.
to go to a place that needs improvement, right? And
Mm,
that for me is very, and that's funny because when we put plug and play in Brazil, we are a
mm-hmm.
marble tower in the coolest neighborhood of town, and
Yeah.
we moved to another industrial barn. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, very far from the center.
Yeah.
Really, really try to reinvent the city with I mean, a small brick in a large construction, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see the benefit of it. I think it's really, really good. And so yeah, that's amazing. And my show is called Finding Flow. So for you, what does being fully in flow actually mean, or what does it feel like? Is there a specific type of problem, a moment, a context where everything else falls away and you know you're exactly where you're supposed to be?
That's a tough question. I would say that you can define flow in many different aspects of your life, but
Yeah.
for you, what comes to my mind, getting back to the beginning of our conversation, is about knowledge. My father used to say that everybody is ignorant in different matters.
Mm,
So you know something that I don't, I know something that you don't, and for me,
sure.
flow is about, I mean, really letting the knowledge flow. For me,
Mm,
this is the strongest meaning of the word. So be open to I mean, the word of information that is coming out of you, and
mm-hmm,
make sure that you provide a better flow than you received. I mean, check the sources, be a curator for all the information that you receive, and
mm-hmm,
send them back to other people ahead of you better
mm,
than you received. For me,
mm,
the most natural meaning of flow, Kyle, is knowledge, right?
mm, mm,
So keep the knowledge flowing. Try to listen to the most that you can. Do your reflection. Do I mean, your mind games on understanding what is true and what is not, and make sure that you pass through something better than you got.
okay, perfect. Well, Paulo, that's all of my questions that I had. I just want to say thank you so much. I think this has been invaluable and just an amazing perspective to give to my audience. And it's such a pleasure to have you here and to speak with you. And yeah, thank you very much.
I mean, I'm the one thanking. I mean, the conversation was super nice, super light, and I really hope that I can bring value to anybody listening to our podcast. Thank you very much for the chat, Kyle. Really a pleasure.
Thanks, Paulo. See you next time. Bye.
Have a nice day.